everybody, it's David Mitchell here, and welcome back to Fans of Train, episode 181, and if y'all can guess, we are not at the house right now. Nope. We are doing the live stream in my workplace because of how my work schedule is set up. Plus, also, in about 4 minutes, Dimitri live stream will begin, and we'll be doing the collab with him. So we are ahead of time, but he'll be coming on in about 4 minutes. His live stream will begin in 4 minutes, and we'll be collabing then. Also, later on, in around an hour from now, around 9 o'clock, they'll be here because one, she had taken the last bus of the night to get to me. But let's check if she at the bus stop on Live 360. Gotta let her know to go head down to the bus stop. That way she don't miss the last bus of the night. You get 10 minutes. But yeah. But right now we're actually waiting on Val and all of that. But we are right now waiting on Demetrius to get in because, one, we're doing a collab live stream tonight. Probably gonna be an hour and 30 minutes. But we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Also, some very interesting stuff that I will be talking to him about from a YouTube short that we've been sharing on my Facebook page, which actually makes sense. But he getting ready to start his end of the live stream. I already started mine end, waiting on him to get ready to go.
At Domino's, get the pizza you've always wanted but never dared to get, with any crust and 80 toppings for $9.99.
Domino.
Do you think migrant?
Sorry about that, guys. Let me adjust that. But yeah, getting ready to start on his end to get his live stream. It's now starting to go. But yeah. And it keep on controlling to brighten it up because of my glasses are reflection a little bit. But yeah. But he getting ready to start his end of the live stream. So yeah. Heck, and when I get done, we gotta do them grocery shopping. But yeah, but Bella already getting her side in. Also, I got my W-2 today, so that we got out of the way. But yeah, so you gotta wait on Demetrius now. Look like some of the members are already starting to join. But yeah. Right. Even. But yeah, you gotta wait on Demetrius. Like, his live stream are already beginning. And gotta wait on him to give me the go-ahead. Because I will be on got a lot, and I mean a lot of stuff that we will be talking about tonight, and some crazy stuff too. But yeah, I am about to send a copy of the post, send to him. But ooh, the crazy. He might be having a little difficulty, but ready. But yeah. Ah. Ah, there he go.
Alrighty, hopefully everybody can hear me. Okay, are you guys there? Am I, before I get this started, let's make sure, okay, good, perfect, alrighty. Get set everybody, here we go. Alrighty. There we go, let's get this, and 3, 2, and 1.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, wait, let me just, okay, well, it's not a black screen. Alright, let's go.
Dimitri is getting ready on his end. But yeah. They gotta wait on him. Whew. Wait. They gotta let him know I'm ready too, because yeah, if y'all know. Whew. Well, let's see if he get in. But yeah.
With the continent by steel, it would set the tone for where America would be. For better or for...
He looked like he having a little dick shorty on his end, but it's ready. They gotta wait on him to invite me in. But we're also probably going to talk about how the Super Bowl gone, because it was pretty funny. But yeah. But let's just wait. Also, let me check if Bella at the bus stop.
Hello, everybody!
There we go.
Welcome aboard! I hope you all enjoyed that. We're coming back! We're back! We're getting there. That was a sneak preview. Of course, it's a work in progress to our next video, the first video that we're going to have back on the scene. Why the LA fires, everything wrong with America's infrastructure. The title's still pending. I'll take your suggestions, and you're more than welcome to come to our Discord. Link is below if you don't have it. If you're not in it, get in it, because I'm pretty sure once we start getting this video out, people start getting the message. We're gonna start getting packed. I've been telling you guys, get on the Discord, because at some point it ain't gonna be free anymore. Hello, everybody. Welcome aboard. It is your host and conductor on this road ride, Demetrius Villa. Welcome aboard. And finally, speaking of things that have finally come in, it only took since November, but this darn thing finally came in. Late as always.
They gotta wait on Dimitri.
Oh man, I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome aboard. Hello, Telmo Coon, Gustavo, Brian, Rock, Rail Fan, Ricardo Noel, and we have a packed audience on board. We got David Mitchell, Darius, Minor Tree, ACB, Brightline Fan, Grant Chunkline, and probably many more to come, guys. Well, welcome aboard. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little sneak preview. course, there's more to go to. This again, everything here is a work in progress. Of course, it's not going to be the final thumbnail. This kind of the AI slopper that we have over here. This,
right about
this I
that.
added. That's my own personal touch, and as well as the caution tape. And for some reason, AI doesn't know how to spell. There were two apostrophes over here, so you can tell I kind of had to fix over here, and it couldn't spell build, so I had to kind of heal this all. You know, it's all you can't replace technical skills. AI is never going to be able to replace that. You know, it's gonna. Funny enough, it will replace coders. So learn to code. Oh well, I don't need to anymore. Thank you, coders. I don't have to learn how to code anymore. But welcome aboard, everybody. Before we get started over here, and we will bring everybody on board. David Mitchell will be on board and everything. But guys, yeah, if you have any suggestions or anything you want to add on to there, there's a lot of things that I want to add to there. But at least the general tone
about invite
of
me
the
in,
beginning. Is this a YouTube video? Of course, it's not perfect yet. But once it does, is that something that you would sit down and watch the whole way through? Just let me know in the chat below or in the Discord, wherever else. Again, this is a club. It's the first time I'm really doing this sort of thing too. Show you the process, and man, it was a pain to get it through Vegas and everything else. But man, I hope you guys are doing all right. We're doing good. So, and of course we will. It's still winter, so it's still eggnog season. Even though some places keep hiding it, but now some of the good liquor stores are bringing it out now for $5. So can't complain. So here we go. But this was 6 months ago. Speaking of. The CEO, Brian Kelly, who was the original CEO, or I think one of the first CEOs of the California High-Speed Rail Authority, did step down back during 6 months ago, which is what we're talking about, August or so at this point. Let me go back. February, January, December, November, October, about September, August. What happened after July? Or let's say, what happened right before? There was a certain event where it became pretty clear who was probably going to win. So let's think about that. The timing that this happened.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that. And again, of course, we'll leave it open for you guys to go ahead and chime in on this. But it's the timing is interesting that Brian Kelly left, and of course, I am all in favor. And if you guys were following on our X, you guys can see I did chime in on this a lot, and it kind of started over here, where Trump did say this about the high-speed rail.
Ooh, 1 minute. He is saying, but he getting everything out of the way. That's normally how Demetrius rolls, but yeah, so you gotta wait for him to invite me in. But with Demetrius, he always gets all the heavy hitters out of the way. But yeah. But yeah. Gotta let Val know that she gotta go to. You gotta wait on him.
Yeah, it goes to say, look, whether you like him or not, he's right about that. And it's again, like I said, the unfortunate part about the California... Quiet. The unfortunate part about the California high-speed rail project is that it's beyond advanced mismanagement, failing not only their constituency, but the country. Simply put, it seems California HSR just doesn't want to build it. 10 years later, and nothing. Very shameful. Case in point, California high-speed rail failed to deliver, pissed people off, and it's lost its mandate. So this was a post that the California High-Speed Rail Authority went out last week or so, saying, look, we're building more concrete. And then somebody replied, I voted for HSR, and after the years of BS that followed, I absolutely wanted investigation. This project was so great, you'd want one too. Exactly. This is a great thing. High-speed rail is a great thing. So if it's so great, where the hell is it? Why is it taking 10 years? How come Indonesia started on a high-speed rail project in 2018. It finished in 2023. Indonesia, which has it on the desert, it's got swampy areas, it's got mountains, it's a tropical area and a hilly and volcanic area that pretty hard to build. There's no need for tunnels in the Central Valley. It's a valley. There's nothing there. It's not that hard. It's just ridiculous. And the funny thing about this, I'm gonna say one thing from this article, and this is probably the most hilarious thing that I've heard, and this says so much about not just the California High-Speed Rail Authority, and not just California as a whole, but like I said, as California goes, so goes the nation. And this is the problem that we're having here with this country. In 2022, the New York Times noted SNCF, or the French Railroad Company, is first trying to get a contract with California to assist with the project, but pulled out in 2011. And this was back, we're talking almost 14 years ago, okay? Mm-hmm. Saying, quote, they were leaving for North Africa, which was less politically dysfunctional. This is when the French are saying that California is less is more politically dysfunctional than both France and North Africa. They were leaving for North Africa, which was less politically dysfunctional. SNCF had Morocco's bullet train operating in 2018, just 7 years later.
What he's saying
so
is true right there.
Is horribly wrong. Not just again, what's going on with what's happened with the fires, what's happened with the high-speed rail, what's happened with the reservoirs, with absolutely everything else in this country. It's the same damn problem over and over again. It is nuts, and it shouldn't be happening. It's sick. It really is. It is. Yeah, we're sick of the clowns in general who attack. Yeah, we're sick of whatever on the wall. Yeah, I wish there was a wall, and this took a little too long to come in. I mean, I wrote this back in November, but look, let's see what happens, because a lot has been happening in terms of the tariffs, and I'll talk about that if you guys have. But I got a whole bunch of articles here and there and some other things, but. Let's focus on one thing, because we'll go to there and we'll talk about else. But let's bring on David Mitchell, and then we'll start bringing everybody else on board.
There we go.
Welcome aboard, David Mitchell. You're on. Wow, there are 9 people in the audience.
Hey, bud, you doing good?
What's...
You doing good right now?
Yeah, I'm here. I am here. And Brightline fan says this is a lot than just not knowing how to build high-speed rail. Exactly.
That's true.
This is indicative of a much bigger problem in our country.
You know, funny thing is, I've been live for 18 minutes waiting on you.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. Oh, man. But yeah. Oh, man. It's been a long day, but here we are.
I know. You know what?
It was a good lead up.
You know what crazy? The day before yesterday, we had another deadly plane crash that killed one person.
That's another thing. These plane crashes, it's almost now one every week.
Yep. I think they're going...
We had 2 last week, or the week before. Within a week span, let's put it that way.
Dimitri,
within a week span.
I'm gonna say that I think that it's gonna be a bad year for aviation.
Yeah, which, speaking of, our new Department of Transportation Secretary is calling Boeing a national security issue and is hinting at new policies for EV drivers and a whole bunch of stuff. He's saying that there should be an investigation into... He
right. Look, here, Tate, he right about that, and also, I will bring it up. The Eagle won the Super Bowl Sunday, and Philly went on fire.
Don't get me started on the Super Bowl, man. Oh, man. I knew it was going to be bad. But I didn't know it was going to be this bad. First of all, the game sucked. It was terrible. One of the worst Super Bowl game, and the worst Super Bowl I have ever seen in my entire life. I mean, everybody knows that Kansas City can't get by without the NFL. It's the NFL's darling. They cheat. And if you guys don't know, there's a book called The Fix Is In. I forget the author right now. But basically, they use the referees to more or less push the game here. The Chiefs were so bad that the refs couldn't even save them. It was horrible. Okay, so the Buffalo Bills got robbed. That's number one.
Oh, I know.
Number two, yeah, the halftime was atrocious. I can't stand Kendrick Lamar. I've never been able to understand him, even with the closed captioning on. I don't understand that this is normal music that people listen to. And then third, the commercials were just absolutely bizarre.
Tell me about it.
There's something culturally wrong with it right now.
Oh, Dimitri,
it's bad, man.
Hey, well, one positive thing that came out of it, guess who got booed to hell and back?
Oh, thank goodness. So there's a light there. There's a light in the tunnel there. Finally, Taylor Swift got what she deserved. A whole cacophony of boos.
And we know the reason why. That's what she get for last year's Super Bowl. You remember?
Yeah, it's just obvious. I mean, I think it's obvious that the NFL is doing this, and I hope it's a good thing for people to understand that it's becoming a bit of a distraction, and I hope it tears people away that life is not all about the sports. It's nice to see once in a while, but it's a business. It's a big business, and if like what's going on with Dallas with the Luka Doncic, that whole thing. That it's all a ruse for the Adelsons who own the team to basically build and change the laws of Texas to go ahead and build a casino. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely insane, sick, and wrong, and that's another problem in this country. It's probably one of the biggest problems.
Oh, speaking of that, I got a YouTube short to show you that actually speaks volumes about the problem with society today, when it come to the boomers and all of that.
Don't get me started on that. And small disclosure for the boomers out there. Let me look directly at the camera over here, so you guys can see me. Okay. We make fun of everybody.
Folks, why don't kids go outside anymore?
We hate
Outside they
millennials,
milk?
we hate
I
on
thought this was my
Zoomers, we don't
hometown
want
for a
millennials
second.
and
Adults,
Zoomers.
no
Everybody
skateboarding
hates
on the
us,
sidewalk,
and we
no
laugh about
loitering
it.
at the mall,
Okay?
no drumming in your
Whenever
yard.
somebody
Funding for
says
parks
something
and
about
buses
hate,
is socialism. Libraries don't need to be
first
open
thing
on
I always
evenings or
hear from
weekends.
people
Going
is,
to a
"Well,
movie should
that's
cost like $30, and a popcorn
I know
should
that.
probably cost
It's
another
true.
$30.
I get
Also,
it. I
adults, why are the
understand.
kids always
Some
up to
of you
no
are great.
good? So this has
Okay?
actually been
But-
cited by
but the
academics
problem
as
is,
part
and
of
I don't
the
know if
major
this is
draw
gonna
to
go into
online
it,
spaces,
but
is
there
the
was a
fact that
recent
just
poll that
existing
was
in
done.
public is reacted to with
I can
hostility
find it.
and
Probably
punishment.
find it on
Gretchen
Twitter.
McCulloch
But
discusses in her book Because Internet, citing research shows teens and young adults want to be outside. We want to spend time in social places. It's just that there aren't any places to exist in public without being charged for it.
Like the majority of from millennials to Gen X says, yeah, I'm saving to help my children, or I'm going to give my house to my children. And every generation was like that, except for the baby boomers. It was a complete opposite flip. And that says something a lot. And again, let's be fair to the boomers, okay? They were basically completely psychologically operated on from the beginning, because they grew up with the TV. What the man on the TV said was true. The TV was the best friend. A lot of them can't even fall asleep without the TV, okay? I'm not taking at anybody personally here, but let's be true and honest about that, okay? It's very sad that what happened to them. It's true, but we have to understand and realize that, okay? Again, not all of you, but please, guys, learn just general statistics, okay? When I say the boomers, it's not personal towards you, okay? Don't be a snowflake. Don't be a Generation Me. Don't be a Peter Pan generation. Okay, for those of you, the boomers who are watching, we love you, we thank you, okay? And we understand that our generation's screwed up too.
Oh yeah, every generation is.
Medically and everything else, there's a lot wrong with Zoomers and millennials. Speaking of Zoomers, the hair. If I see one more damn broccoli top,
oh God!
Every time I go to the gym or anything, what is this hair? What is this? But it's still hilarious that these are the guys in charge just shutting down everything. It's absolutely hilarious.
Oh.
But man, this is hilarious.
But Dimitri, so the YouTube short, because it speaks volume on why degenerate emotionally online, you know?
Let's do this. Okay, let's do this. Alright, come on. Just visit the site. Here we go. Oh.
But it did crazy when you did think about it. Like, I done showed the YouTube short, but it speaks volume. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hold on, let's okay. No, just to catch up with everybody, adults, no skateboarding on the sidewalk, no loitering at the mall, no drumming in your yard, funding for parks and buses is socialism, libraries don't need to be open on evenings or weekends. Okay, keep going.
Mm-hmm. But it speaks volume, doesn't it? But, whew. Like, oof. Like,
It's absolutely true. That's true.
like, it's just crazy because here, James, there a reason why our generation don't want to go outside anymore because of how everybody treat everybody. It's just so hostile, you know?
Yeah, it's part of it too. It's like every time now that, well, since we moved, I have to go back to my old stomping ground to a state park. And just to go there is like $7. Of course, I mean, you can get the state pass at $50, but I mean, it's a state park. Why do I have to pay to go into a state park that's owned by the state that I pay for tax dollars for, just so I can go ahead and ruck and hike in a public space without cars or people or anything else around? I want an actual space. I can't go hunting unless I go 50 miles out to go ahead and go hunt. I can't do that in my backyard. I can't go, well, I mean, let's not go again, forget it, the backyard now, but, you can't do stuff. And that's the problem. That's why people, especially our generation, is upset, and that's why they're so messed up mentally.
And
But yeah, there's a lot.
it also brutal with infrastructure too. Like, let me be honest, the infrastructure that it built now is it's not good for mental health at all.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Okay, let's start bringing in some other people on here to chime in because we got a good conversation here going on. All right.
Oh yeah.
Let's bring on. I'm gonna start bringing on 2 people at a time because we got a lot of people in the audience. Okay, Darius, come on in, and then I'll bring in Minor Tree in 15 seconds. What's up, man?
You know what's interesting part of the flights and the bumpy road for aviation? It hasn't turned me away from aviation. In fact, it's got me more interested in aviation.
Okay, so it's turned you, or it's got you more interested in aviation?
Because flying is actually very versatile, and it's still one of the best ways to get around.
Yeah, definitely past 600, 700 miles. That's the best way to do it. And look, it's just what works.
It's not just that. It's just that I'm also thinking of doing it for recreation and thinking of getting sport pilot.
Well, speaking of piloting, if you want to talk about somebody who's a pilot, Minor Tree is on.
Oh
There
yeah.
you go. You can speak a little bit more to that.
Yeah, flying is fun, but it's one of the most expensive hobbies you can have.
Yeah.
As an occupation, if you want to go the airline route, it's terrible pay and long hours for the first 8 to 10 years, but after that, you're paid very well. It's just, you're given bad flights and long hours for days on end for the first few years, so it's not that bad. But first, I wanted to ask you, have you gotten to talk to Alan Fisher lately? Because it sounds like all of Philadelphia is burning down around him because the Eagles won.
And there's so many news. You got to
They said he's okay.
Let me see if I can find that one.
And the fact that I've been getting into Demetrius, that actually competent little drone that you actually got me for my birthday, it like flew around, it stayed stable and like 15-mile-an-hour gust, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a little.
Yeah, I'm glad you like that, man.
Oh.
I thought that would be a good starter for you because the minis and the pros are a little bit. I mean, they're good, but the nice thing about the Neo is that if you want to go the FPV route, you can do that. If you want to go with control or whatever, it's a good starter drone. That's what I looked up, and it's pretty good. But yeah, speaking of Alan Fisher, let me see if I can bring that up, Miter Tree. Let me see.
Oh,
Where was it? Alan Fisher got into a whole tussle with this Lakshya Jian. Not quite sure if I'm saying his name there correctly, but it's funny. So he said, quote, next governor should cancel this project, referring to the California high-speed rail. Sunk cost fallacies are real, and this is making a mockery of transit. And then Alan Fisher said, of course, a software engineer would be suggesting to not finish a project. You dorks barely maintain the same code for longer than 2 years before moving on to a new app. I don't want to hear it. He's absolutely right about that. And look,
He
Alan
is.
Fisher, when he's right, and he's very good when it comes to transit, and we align on a lot. But of course, he's more on central left, and I'm being very nice about that, and I'm very generous, exactly. And I'm very much to the right. Okay, let's put it that way. But yeah, he's 100% right.
Independent.
And horseshoe theory here is making sense. We agree on this because that's the problem with infrastructure. Spending now is that the country has turned from. Notice the change between the 1960s to today. That once we started getting rid of manufacturing in this country, that's when we really started to see a downturn. Now, of course, we saw the big upsurge in the 80s, but really, if you can really look at the money that was made in the 80s, it was basically selling off America.
Oh.
That's why people were making a whole bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
When you really think
That
about
is
it.
true.
And that's the thing, is that we've changed from a manufacturing and making actual physical goods, making actual physical stuff, to an economy that's service-based, or just not really selling anything. It's either making money through finance, or just interest and carried interest, and a whole bunch of other weird schemes to go ahead and make money by using money. That's another thing, and I'm not going to get into that because I could.
Hey, speaking of that,
interest and usury and everything else, and then you have the other side of it, which is just making software, or service as a software, or software as a service, whatever, like a SaaS. And they basically, they turn out one thing, they up the price, and then they sell. Like what Vivek did with his pharmaceutical company, which is, by the way, that's how he made his money. He just basically bought this failing pharmaceutical company, got his mom to, because she's a doctor or whatever, to say, yeah, this medicine is going to work, boosted up the price, and then sold it at the top, and basically pulled the rug pull on the investors, and made off with that. It was all vaporware. That's the problem in this country. We don't make, there's nothing real. We just make vaporware.
Oh, speaking of that, Dimitri, I got a meme I made that is super funny out of a post.
All right, let's see that.
Read it. It's super funny when you.
Yeah.
There's one why manufacturing in America has gone so weaker than it seems.
Yeah.
Than it already seems.
It's really sad. Okay, David, hold on. I'm trying to see this because I couldn't. Let me see. Open a browser. Here we go.
And
will you be my Valentine? Valentine.
And read the comments at the bottom.
All right, that's fine, guys. There you go. There's your Valentine's Day card, everybody. Don't forget, it's on Friday. It's coming up.
Yeah, if you haven't
forget it.
made a reservation yet, or you haven't got your food to make it at home, you basically have 48 hours to take care of it.
Oh, it's being at Dimitri.
Chugi says, send this to your crush, October Sky. I'm sorry, my heart belongs to a P-42. Amtrak, womp womp. Get roasted by Amtrak. That's pretty sad, man, to get roasted by Amtrak. But hell, that's hilarious.
It is.
Normally, Wendy's does the roasting, but I'm guessing Amtrak's getting on it now.
Mm-hmm.
Nice one, man. Nice one.
I know. But.
Oh man. But yeah, this is just it's a crazy time we're heading into, guys. I mean, it's just nuts that all this is happening at the same time. And speaking of manufacturing, the whole thing with the tariffs, because everybody keeps screaming about the tariffs, that it brings up the prices of this and that. Well, the last time
that Trump did tariffs. And this was back in 2018 and 2019. This is according to Wall Street, which is very, very good. I read these guys almost every morning. No impact on inflation. It doubled receipts from customs duties and hit stocks. And really the main reason why that inflation didn't go up was mainly due to price pressures. Because the thing is, the importers pay the tariff, okay? Not the countries or anything like that. So it's not a tax on Canada or China or Mexico or anything like that. It's a tax on the companies that are bringing in the foreign materials over. And here's the thing. So, quote, it's hard for companies to raise prices and not lose sales. There's lots of competition in the U.S., including from domestic production. Companies, including retailers, raised their prices, but then lost sales and couldn't sell at those prices. And their inventories piled up because Americans hate higher prices. And then these companies had to roll back their price increases in order to salvage their revenues. And in doing so, the companies and their suppliers ate those tariffs, lock, stock, and barrel. That's the whole point of tariffs. And not only that, it pushes people to reshore back into America because they know, okay, if this is going to be the thing for the next 4 years, and if the other party is basically, dead in the water at this point, we better start moving back over here. We better start taking, we have all the materials over here. I mean, America has so much natural resources. And so much potential.
Yeah, and a lot of their estimates on the inflation is based on Keynesian economics, and I can go on a 14-hour rant on that.
I'll join you in that. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm pretty sure there's like 20 people that would want to hear it. It's just none are watching the video or the live stream right now.
Oh, I thought y'all were laughing at the meme I just snuck in, the Perry the Platypus meme. Like,
okay, hold on, let me see if I can, let me see if I can get that. Give me a second. But yeah, you guys, I'll put in the math over there. Where's the meme over here? Okay, let's open a browser. Here we go. It's Phineas and Ferb meme. I see Phineas and Ferb on BurgerFi TVs. Okay. Barry the Platypus. What an unexpected. Wait. You're trapped by societal convention. Look, we're in a fine dining environment. Everybody knows not to throw a scene in a fancy restaurant. That's right. You're trapped. Sit down.
Technically, that's only partially true.
Because remember, guys, you can just do things now. You can just do things. Okay.
I mean, it's improper, but it's not illegal.
It's worse things have happened.
oh yeah.
So basics about tariffs. Tariffs have two rules: raising taxes, which the U.S. desperately needs, and changing the economic math for domestic production. U.S. trading partners have used tariffs extensively to raise taxes and to protect and support their own industries at the expense of U.S. production and exports. And here's the thing. When you're playing a rigged game, okay, we're the only economy that says, we're a free market. Does China play by a free market? Does the EU play by a free market or any? No. Nobody plays by those rules. The only people who benefit from a free market are, the people like the Larry Finks or the Adelsons or any of those people, the people who are making, millions of dollars off of whatever U.S. aid that has, now appeared, and then use that against you. That's what's going on, because all the money from U.S. aid. Let me see if I can bring this up from Grok.
U.S. aid is no more. They disbanded it.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Let me see, where are my...
Yeah, it's U.S.
Let me see if I can find it.
ID, not aid. It's a misnomer.
It's U.S. 8.
It did so. It's about time,
They're to people with AIDS.
Yeah, here we go. All right, so here we are. Quote: with the amount of waste uncovered by USA or USAID in the last 4 years, how many times over would the money have covered a nationwide high-speed rail system? Use the popular map and Japanese Shinkansen cost per month numbers. So this was, I think this was back last week. Yeah, this was back last week, but here we go. So let's say they spent $500 billion, because it doesn't have specific data now. I can ask it, but here. Cost of a nationwide high-speed system in the United States, the cost of building would be, quote, an estimate for 2009 suggested over $500 billion, but using the Japanese cost, if we convert that, it's $144 billion to connect the high-speed rail network in the United States of 5,000 miles.
That's true. That is true.
With the lack of USAID waste data, we can't accurately calculate how many times this waste would cover the cost of nationwide high-speed rail. However, here's a theoretical example. If we were to assume hypothetical waste of $500 billion, this would cover the $144 billion cost approximately 3.47 times over. So that's why you don't have a nationwide infrastructure of any sort. This is why you don't have developed infrastructure, because Iraqi Sesame Street. There you go, guys. Thank you, USAID for stealing our money and wasting it out. That's the problem, is that they all went out to everywhere else. It's just insane. Let me see if I can ask.
Are you sure you don't want to have tens of millions of dollars being sent over to gender-affirming care in Afghanistan for 1 year alone?
Oh man, that's just nuts. Okay, so let me ask it. Quote, any more recent numbers on USAID to aid in this calculation? Yeah, here we go. Okay, USAID waste now exceeds 300 million in climbing. Given these figures, there we go, 30% of waste on the 36.4 billion budget. There you go. So it's let's say $15 billion of waste. That's a Las Vegas. The LA to Las Vegas thing right there. That's it.
It's just a measly 250 miles of high-speed rail, mostly single track per year.
That's just nuts. Yeah, even with the higher estimate of waste, 30% of $36.5 billion is covered less than 8% of the cost of a hypothetical 500 mile. Let's say what routes could 8% cover? Let's see. Let's ask the computer. It's like Willy Wonka.
It crazy. Also, I will bring it up at that we're right now dealing with trucking company trying to ban LMG on rail.
Oh man.
I mean, if you wanted LNG to be moved most efficiently, you would move it in a pipeline and then turn it to LNG near the end station. But that would be thinking with more than 70 IQ.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. This is the possible route. So no Northeast Corridor thanks to USAID. None of the California segments thanks to USAID. Midwest connection, Chicago to Milwaukee. This could be fully covered with no room to start on another segment. Expansion or enhancement of services like Chicago to St. Louis. Southeast Corridor, Atlanta to Charlotte, about 244 miles. This would cover a substantial portion of the route. Southwest, Las Vegas to Los Angeles, while not fully covering this distance, it could lay down a significant portion of the trip. Yeah, this is the problem when we start wasting, and it's the thing, it's not about the funding, because the funding is there. We can access the funding. It's they just don't want to do it.
And what's worse is I saw a video, I'd have to look it up like a week or two ago, where the #1 airline flight in the United States is basically Atlanta down to Miami. And with Brightline building their route eventually up to Jacksonville, it's like, all right, you can't go from Atlanta to Jacksonville and meet Brightline halfway.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, all right, upgrade it to 186 miles an hour, which is 300 kilometers an hour track segment and all that, move freight railroads off of that line, and it's like, boom. The #1 air route in the United States, which is moving like 3.3 million people per year, which was something like 20 flights each direction per day. You can basically move them on 4 or 5 trains per direction per day.
Yeah.
And still meet that demand, assuming no new demand wasn't created.
Oh yeah,
and again, a lot
that
of
is true.
Probably international connections.
And what's worse is you pulled up the numbers right there, and it shows that the waste and grip that was done by the USAID is enough to pay for it from just 1 year of waste.
Oh yeah, it's just so aggravating realizing it. Also, I do got them good news. Dimitri, you remember about a week ago when we would talk about up there in New Hampshire, Vermont, and Maine about them rebuilding an abandoned rail line that's been abandoned for almost 4 decades?
Yeah.
They are already starting construction by putting new ties and rail down.
Nice. There we go. So
So-
yeah, just build it. One last thing before we add on 2 people from the audience into here. Speaking of trucking, auto hauler Jack Cooper, which is that's a pretty big deal. I worked with them before. Shutting down. CEO letter to workers. Extraordinary sadness as almost a century-old company closes up after ruptures with Ford and GM. So very briefly, I'll go into it. Most of the cars produced by Ford and GM are hauled off again by truck, but Jack Cooper was like the number one hauler. Now, without that demand coming in, because here again, the whole thing with tariffs, because look, we've had a free economy, right? Free. There we go. It's all free market, right? But the cost of cars have not gone down.
It have
They
gone
only done
up.
the opposite. So the whole thing, there you go, of Keynesian economics of having there, it didn't work. There you go. More cars did not decrease the price of automobiles. They've only increased tremendously to the point that you can't even afford it. So now people don't want to buy new cars. Heck, people can't even afford used cars because that's also pushed up the price of used cars because the demand has now gone up for that. But since there's nobody buying the cars and the inventory lots are filling up, now they can't even make enough cars to even meet the demand for Jack Cooper. So there you go. There's a whole lot of people now that are going to be out of a job, and that's it. And that's the problem. If we could not only, let's say, tariff the hell out of these other countries and start bringing in more production back over here and using our own materials, bring down the pricing. Not only that, but also get rid of things like the CAFE standards, so we can start building cheaper, smaller automobiles again. Okay, because and start bringing people back into work. Not only that, all the short lines that are going to be moving those vehicles or anywhere, like David, like you mentioned before, Volvo in South Carolina.
Yep.
They're connected up to a short line railroad
called Palmetto Rail.
I mean, there's just so many easy ways to fix this.
It's not a short line railroad, it's a regional railroad called Palmetto Rail. It used to be a short line railroad, but they upgraded it to a regional rail because it got 6 rail lines now. Back in the day, it used to been about 1 or 2, but now, because they got 6 different rail lines in 6 different areas in the state, they're now counted at a regional. So they've been growing. They've been upgraded from a class 3 to a class 2.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And as we bring in the new people right now, everybody else in chat, press F to pay your respects.
Oh man.
But-
There we are, but here we go. Okay, let's bring in everybody else over here. ACB and Grand Trunk Line. There we go. Let's bring in people.
It is your favorite president who is draining the swamp. And also, I'm going to go after California HSR next. We're going to find out where the money actually went. Because in that amount of time, Japan built 2 new rail lines or expanded 2 rail lines. And not a single mile of track has been laid. I mean, so just disheartening.
It's sad. It's very sad. Very sad. No, that's a good impression.
Do the job a lot better than they can, at a fraction of the cost, more efficiently and beautifully.
Oh man,
I had to do that. That was a good one.
Oh, Dimitri, there's something I didn't realize. There's something I didn't realize, and I want to bring it up. It's something else. Like, I'm going to bring it up. If you're going to, and it's something that I think the U.S. government need to do, if companies are going to say, I'm going to shut my factory down and then go overseas and build a factory over there, that should fall under treason.
I mean, not just that, but I will add more insult to injury. If you do that, I will slap a 100% tariff on your product where it becomes impossible to sell in this country.
Or just pass a law that he's allowed to slap whoever in the face on national television.
But
make it more entertaining. Don't do that.
Yeah.
but
Do that, and there will be a tariff.
Yep. And another thing is too what you guys were talking about before I came in. It's like, where did the money go? Seriously, all these billions
and
over
this,
15 years.
So I have a quick solution. Now it's not completely all fleshed out. It's just a framework. But I think this is a good framework. So, and this is just in a Twitter post that got, or X post that got one like. So I think we're doing good. This one's hitting numbers. It got one. By the way, guys. No, American Rail Club. We're getting there. We're getting there on X. Please join us. I'm gonna put the link there below, but and in the YouTube. Join in, get involved, because we gotta. This is now the national stage to get things to get ideas out there. We gotta start pushing ideas.
but let me get back
So
to.
I said,
Oops, sorry.
quote. Go ahead.
What I'm going to say is, like, what I said a few minutes ago, like, if you're going to build a factory overseas and then shut the factory in the U.S. down, like a paper mill, steel mill, you're going to get charged with treason, either pay the death penalty or spend the rest of your life in jail.
Well,
Yeah,
according to
starting
the
to think
actual
about it
criminal
now,
code,
that's really starting to become a national security risk. Really starting to think about it now.
Because
yeah, but the problem is according to the criminal code, if you commit treason and you're convicted of it, the only punishment is the death penalty.
Yep.
mhm.
So if you want to bring that, so if you want to bring those charges on, you have to make sure that they're going to stick.
Oh yeah, because
They're
here,
not just made up.
I mean, it's and I guess baseball bat nationalism is starting to catch on over here. So anyway, look, and here's the thing: is that really the biggest problem is that there's a lack of accountability and responsibility, right? And
Right.
that's the biggest issue that we're seeing not only in California, because these guys can get away with a whole lot of stuff. They basically stay in office to go there and grift and not get anything done.
that I agree with.
It's nuts. There's a lot of ways to cut this through, and it's just crazy.
Like-
here, very succinctly, from what I said next, in no way do any of us in the club want California HSR to fail. From San Diego to Humboldt should be the motto. Main issue is the failure to deliver. The most populous state in our union should not take 10 years to deliver nada when third world countries build a mile a day. So I say, number 1, audit, 2, fire, and 3, reorganize. Nobody over the age of 45 on the board. Release the millennials and zoomers. We want it done. A JR Central, a DB, a Deutsche Spot, a Renfed to consult. Pick one. Built by summer 2028. But that's extreme. I really don't care, Margaret. That's it. And an Iron Man meme. But
Yeah, they had
finish. Yeah.
And that goes back to the question Tomo-kun asked at the beginning of the stream in the YouTube chats. Where did the money go? Well, the money went to study whether or not the previous study was studied properly, so that the next study can be studied to the point that it can be done.
Wait. We see all these 66.6 consultants and being. We see a lot.
Come on!
Chicken nuggets and french fries. I already got my cup.
Something the f***ing top, and they were hoping nobody would dump it. Come on. You think we're that dumb?
This is like.
Well, some people are.
Yeah.
2 months ago, when we went to Costco, there was like no courtyard there. But then a few months we came back and we saw a tennis courtyard right next to that same area, right in that same area, right next to the apartment. It became pretty clear that it was a resort style condominium.
Because it's private money,
Not this
and we have pressure to actually get it done.
Yeah, I think
No contractor, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, it's not just private money either, because the one of the biggest issues, and I'm going to say something that some people don't agree with. I don't think they're going to build this whole 15-minute city thing is all a ruse. It's all a ruse for the Black Rocks, the Blackstones, the State Streets, and the Vanguards to buy up as much land as possible. And they're not going to want to build a 15-minute city. 15-minute city, that's just a city. That's just a walkable city. I can go to, when I went to Japan, everything was, not 15 minutes, it was 5 minutes away from me. I can go downstairs, everything was 2 blocks away. I wanted to get food, I wanted to go to the groceries, it was right there. It has nothing to do with the 15-minute city. It's all a big, giant land grab. Why? Because they want to turn everybody into renters. They don't want you to own
existence in Europe. 15-minute cities are already in existence in Europe.
And some people are going to disagree that, no, they are going to build,
they
can't even build a freaking railroad.
Much less a planned city.
Yeah,
much less a planned city.
And it's a big thing is
They
that
can't even build a house.
Yeah, the problem is
expansions of the future.
You got all these BlackRock, Vanguard, State Streets, or Blackstones, and they'll have a whole bunch of LLCs, like 150 LLCs, buy up a whole entire area, and they'll all collude with each other.
And that kind of monopoly right there.
Free market, but you can't. How are you supposed to compete against a whole bunch of cartels? Yeah, a cartel basically colluding.
That monopoly right there. Am I right? That is a straight up monopoly. That stuff does violate a lot of laws.
Technically, since there would be multiple companies, it would be an oligarchy, and even then, that would fall under. Yeah, but that would also fall under antitrust laws that are not being enforced.
He right. He is right.
A made-up species like the smelt fish or.
Well, the smelt is a real fish. The problem is it's an invasive species to that area of California.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's not a thing. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, I got another meme, and it Chilkind what he really doing in his pocket.
It may or may not be family friendly, so you might want to.
All right, let's
not show it on stream.
David, we'll skip that one for now. But yeah, anything else that anybody wants to add on to there? Look, there's a lot of things. Let's say somebody like me and Alan Fisher agree on. There's a lot more that we can agree on in terms of the system is corrupt. There's a lot to do with these big massive, and I hope Trump really does this tax on carried interest, because that's a main problem that we have this happening in our country, where these characters, these Finks and these Adelsons, they can just get away with a lot because they're making money, or they're using these sports teams to basically make off with billions of dollars without ever paying taxes. So that's why, and then you have foreign interest on top of that, using State Street or Blackstone
to
go ahead and buy foreign investment into real estate. You can't compete with
also needs to have the kibosh put on it too.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to compete with some, Chinese millionaire mogul that's going to be buying up your entire neighborhood and then put the comp rates up skyward. You can't compete with that. So, like David Mitchell came out later, like you just put out that video, was like why people can't go outside. Well, they can't also own a home either. Our generation can't own a home, so there's no place they feel secure. They can't work.
Priced out of the market.
Yep, there's no manufacturing, there's no stable jobs. And that's why they can't have kids, or they can't have family. It's not that they can't. It's just the difficulty level has been brought up to extremely high rates. So anybody who is married and having a family,
Societal pressure.
Exactly.
Once you look into it, the United States has been in a housing shortfall of about 400,000 units per year, which that doesn't sound like much until you realize it's happened every single year for the last 30 years, guaranteed, possibly closer to 40. So at minimum, you're 12 million units short. And you're thinking 12 million is not a lot until you realize one thing. There's about 350 million people.
what is 12 million units? Yeah, that starts adding up quickly. So it's like, all right, you have a shortfall. So what happens when the shortfall goes? The prices of the individual units go up. Pair that with the recent interest rates going up. Now all of a sudden it's more expensive with higher interest rates to get the same house. So yeah, that $300,000 house is now $500,000. Oh wait, that $300,000 house had a 2% mortgage. Now you're lucky to get 5%.
And that
you explained it perfectly right there, man.
Yeah, and that is a problem right there in itself. Like, it makes it
highway robbery.
It is.
Well, it's good for those who bought in early enough to avoid the high interest. So if you wanted to avoid it, all you had to do was buy your house and be able to afford it pre-2020. 2018 would be the most ideal point for most of it. But after 2022, if you didn't have a house, you basically have to make like $250,000 a year or more in order to basically afford the average house.
Heck, in order to get a good house, you gotta get stupidly lucky and probably win the lottery, you know?
Not necessarily, but a lot of lottery winners tend to splurge a lot, and which is why 70% of them go bankrupt within 5 years of winning. So it's not so much how much you make, but how well you plan for it. And right now, we basically have to wait for the housing market bubble to pop. And unfortunately, if it does, it's going to make the 2007 to 2009 housing situation look quaint.
Yeah,
it's probably a lot worse. If I were to take a guess, I would say 10% of the value of the house gone within the first month.
Oh yeah. Like, if it
well, think about it like this: your house is worth $100,000. Now all of a sudden, and rise, and it's going to fall down to $80,000. So are you going to write out that $50,000 worth of value, or are you going to sell at $125,000 and hope you can get out in time? Yeah. But if everybody does it, it's going to fall even faster. Now, now if you say it's not $100,000, if it's $500,000, take those exact same numbers and multiply it by 5.
Yeah.
And that's the situation that's going to happen.
Yeah, since none of us were able to go ahead and invest $1 million at the age of 2, here's what I was talking about before about this graph. And again, we talked about millennials. I don't have to say it anymore. If you guys don't understand per capita, and you don't understand that we're not personally talking about you, I don't know. Again, don't take it personally. Again, percentages per capita. These are all simple statistical concepts. I don't have to explain it or disclose myself anymore. But let's go over the graph. How generations plan to transfer assets. Agreement with the statement. Here's millennials and Gen X, which Gen X kind of, they're like in between. Some of them are like mega boomers, and some of them are pretty chill people. But Gen X is a mixed bag. So we can all attest to that. But agree with the statement. I want the next generation to enjoy my money while alive. 53% of millennials agree with that. 44% of Gen X. 21% of boomers. That means that the majority of them, we're talking about 69% here, don't want the next generation to enjoy their money. Millennials, I want to enjoy my money for myself while I'm alive. Only 15%. Gen X, only 11%. Boomers, 45%. So that's almost 5 times, or 4 times. Both millennials and Gen X. Again, not a majority, but that's 4 times more. So that's kind of significant. And then the next one here. I plan to distribute some wealth during my lifetime. 97% of millennials, 97% of Gen X, 56% of baby boomers. That's a very big generational divide, and this is why I keep saying it's sad. You know, it serves as a lesson. And again, and I don't know, why do I have to keep repeating myself? You guys know, you are all, some of you are old enough to know this. Okay, no. Not all of you, but this is a problem. Just look for it for yourselves, okay? Now, I guess yes, source Charles Schwab and Bloomberg, but I mean, this is also evident anecdotally. There's a lot that we could say that corroborates with what we're seeing here. But I digress. Let's any last or before bringing anybody else into the audience?
Yeah.
Anybody with a hand up?
Alan Fisher or Alan something in
I'm
Brightline.
to say all this crap about the manufacturing, and now we're trying to struggle to get back to all that manufacturing right away. But all these tariffs, in the end, is kind of the same thing of what the Green New Deal has impact on production and society.
Yeah, what it tried to do, and that's the problem is that
the rush.
Yeah.
The rush.
More like the Green New scam.
We're already used to having a lot of stuff and accustomed to having lots of stuff built overseas.
And
Now all of a sudden, how are we going to expect a bit to start becoming a manufacturing powerhouse like we did in the 60s in just a few years?
Mm-hmm.
Well, building up the factories takes 3 to 5 years, which is not that long. And then we'd be building them in such a way that it would have the best engineering processes, the most modern safety features and all that stuff. So on that alone, you would basically see production skyrocket. On top of it would be made a lot cleaner using electricity, which is local and a lot cleaner.
Nuclear.
And you don't have to send the raw resources overseas, very polluting ships. So I don't know why the Greens would be against it, because you're lowering the carbon footprint just to build the sorry thing that they're going to be using in order to build it all domestically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where domestically are we going to build laptops or game consoles or computer chips or all of that.
Old factory places.
Well, Silicon Valley is mostly on the computer design side of things. The manufacturing side, a lot of the chipsets is made in Taiwan and some in the Netherlands and some in the United States, but really the high-end chips is mainly Taiwan.
Yeah.
Well, we're trying to build out the factories to build them in, I believe, outside of Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes.
But that won't come online for another year or so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a push for that, I would say, earlier in the 2010s, and then it just kind of fizzled out. And I kind of have an artifact to that. So this was the first, Motorola came back after they died with the Razr and all like that. It was bought by Google, and they had the Moto X. And this was a big deal because it says back here, if I can get this in the light over here for some reason. Here we are. Designed and assembled in the USA, and it was actually assembled in Texas. So, I mean, there's a few things that people have that I have that states, some Second Amendment paraphernalia and some other stuff like that. But I mean, apart from that, I mean, there's really not too much else that's really made in the USA, and that's the thing, is if we can bring that back, because the problem with software is that it eventually becomes vaporware, and it just becomes this vehicle to go ahead and do road pulls and make more money and go on for the next investor to the next investor to the next investor. Normal people can't win that. And
you mean making the app so people can see where the food is flowing in the San Francisco streets is not important?
Or sweating your infrastructure out to death just to squeeze a few extra million out of
And
it.
you know what's crazy? I'm gonna bring it up because my wife's got here.
Well, I'm being sarcastic.
Dimitri.
We can touch things that we make. It brings back purpose. It brings back, of course, bringing jobs over here. But it's also, again, like to Minor Tree's point, the supply chain is very, very fragile in our country. I mean, what's going to think is going to happen now that the biggest auto hauler is shutting down? That's just going to bring the prices up, the spot prices for every other shipper or contractor out. I'm sorry, for everybody. Because now the biggest player is gone. So, I mean, that's the thing. Our supply chain is very, very fragile. We all saw that during the coup. And we have to build that back up.
Yeah, and a lot of it can be done with a lot of smaller companies and a good number of mid-sized companies. So any one major company going out, it's not a big deal. But the problem is that the smaller companies can't exist because there's too much regulations and red tape preventing them from starting to begin with, and there's not too many.
The insurance companies would kill them.
Oh, by the way, Vela here.
Oh yeah.
Dimitri.
Let's not get into the insurance companies. All right, let's bring on somebody else in the audience over here.
Oh, see that.
Trade goes.
Oh, you know the Metropolitan.
Everybody's talking at once.
All right, go ahead, Darius. Go ahead, Darius.
Maritime flow goes in as far as trade goes. Well, and the reason why many ship companies use flags of conveniences, and I don't blame them on that reason, is because of all this red tape here. Like Maersk, for example, it might be Dutch, but there's an American. But even some American lines have to register their ships in either the Bahamas or Liberia, the Virgin Islands.
Panama's a fun choice.
Oh, Alan.
We're taking back the canal. Are known for being fishy.
Cockroach came out
Are
of my
known
bag.
and spoken out for being fishy.
Cockroach came out of my bag. Kill it, kill it, kill it.
Yeah. All right. Adam Everywhere.
They're coming up.
Adam Everywhere has some.
Wait, I'm not done yet.
All right, go ahead.
As far as the ultra-nationalistic side, the regulations is where the regulations are righted. However, if the red tape, like it say, all the exits need to be there, and all this extra little detail analyzing of where the exit should be, and life jackets and all of that, if you start taking these regulations down like you have like in the Bahamas or the Marshall Islands, then you wouldn't be having so many companies registering their ships overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely a fair point. No, that's understandable.
Have extradition laws, so I really hard for a lawsuit stick.
Yeah.
Not a.
Hi everyone. All right. Okay. Let's first, Adam Everywhere, and then Renell Reed, and then Bright Light Fan. All right, Adam. You said you had some news.
Yes. Basically, I brought some information about what has been happening to rail stations, and if you want to read that is going on right now. Basically, a lot of markups.
Oh man.
They don't help either.
No. The Florida North Bridge. Here we go. The post of that is complete.
It's just about done.
Yeah. There you go. About done.
Oh yeah, like I called it.
Just missing one arch piece, or is all the arch pieces there now?
There you go.
Dimitri, you remember a last week live stream? I said this, that the Portal Bridge project might be done this year.
Well, there you go. It's the year's not even all the way there, and there you go. That's it's there. The new Portal Bridge project, known as the Portal Bridge Capacity Enhancement Project, is a key bridge replacement near Secaucus, New Jersey. The infrastructure initiative will enhance one of the United States' busiest passenger rail corridors that link New Jersey and New York. Yeah, so there you go. They finally got that fixed there. So that's one part of the entire Gateway project there. But there you go. Look, we can build stuff. It's just a matter of
the willpower. The willpower.
Even though it's New Jersey.
Yeah, forget about it. I live up here.
Man.
We have a sinkhole to contend with on I-80.
Yeah. Okay, let's let Renell speak.
Hi everyone.
Hey, Renell.
How's it going, man?
Pretty good. Following what Trump said about California's rail project, high-speed rail, could it possibly be like, if he had a say in it, it'd be California high-speed limo service?
I think he was making a joke to that I know there was an article a couple of years ago that said
he said,
yeah,
like,
with the amount of money they've spent, it's basically cheaper to do the limo service than the high-speed rail that they've already done.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And there was some truth to that. which makes it even worse.
Yeah, he's not lying. They could have used I-5 for a good chunk of the right-of-way, like what Brightline West is doing, instead of the Central Valley business.
I can see how that would go. Travel in California's high-speed limos up to 125 miles per hour.
that sounds very entertaining.
Yeah, it's like the Autobahn.
And knowing how some people drive, that would just be driving in normal traffic.
Try to keep it up with the trade to a 220.
If they're going to cancel the project.
Well,
I don't think they're going to cancel. Yeah, I don't think they'll cancel, and I don't think they'll even want to cancel. Well, I mean, the problem is that, let me see. And here's the thing. So here's an article about the California High-Speed Rail Authority. The authority basically came into existence in 1993. The state created the Intercity High-Speed Rail Commission. So this has been around as long as I've been around, basically.
oh yeah.
So 30 years. More than 30 years. You haven't been able to figure out what the hell you're mapping or doing any of that, okay? Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger championed the ballot measure, Proposition 1A, which authorized $9 billion in funds to begin the planning and construction of the high-speed rail, okay? And that went through 50% of the vote, so most of everybody voted for it, okay? Yes. So this is the thing. You have a majority vote. They've been working on this and planning this since the 90s. Mm-hmm. And nothing has been done. Yeah, I mean, logically, anybody should be pissed off.
Oh,
this
yeah.
Too many hands in the cookie jar.
Yeah, this is a part in history where people would just not be mad. They would just be calling their friend to go get the car and the other friend to go get the feathers, and we're going to meet at the governor's mansion, and it's just going to have a nice conversation. And if things don't go well, the tar and feathers go on the individual.
I mean, come on, Marjorie. I mean, those sluggers, come on. It's a little bit less expensive. I mean, we're talking about supply chain issues here. I mean, we have plenty of wood to go around. I mean, come on.
But the baseball bat to the knees, it works, but it doesn't get the right motivation, because how do you explain that to the doctors? He tripped and fell down the stairs 5 times.
It's like, like being honest and serious about it, look, the other part on it, Trump knows, and he's now he's a Florida resident, and he lives basically down the street from Brightline in Mar-a-Lago, or did live, or now he's back over in Washington. But he's aware of this. He's aware of Brightline West. He's not touching Brightline West, and that's the thing. They're not. Nobody in the DOT is touching that, and they kind of they're supportive of it. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that you see this happening in between Vegas. Let me see if I can. Oh, now it wants to. Okay, let me go back.
They might possibly touch Brightline West.
Oh, hey.
Let's see again. One thing is somebody saying something, and the other thing is happening. Like Trump says a lot of things, and then they don't happen. There's no law. Okay, but let's see from what he says. Let's see what he actually does. Exactly, you're right. So this is the problem. Las Vegas to Rancho is more or less happening, and I've been to Rancho. I've seen where they're gonna build it. And it's right there connecting to the Intercity Rail line to connect to Los Angeles. I wish I could go all the way to Los Angeles, but one thing at a time. This is happening.
Oh, speaking of,
we're ready for construction. Why is this still not in similar climate? They can't even build it over here in the Central Valley, where there's basically nothing. People are leaving California. They've had to go ahead and revise the ridership numbers due to the decrease in population across the state. Bakersfield and Fresno are known as probably the most depressing cities in the United States, because these used to be manufacturing and agricultural giants, and now they're not. So it's a problem.
Right?
Yeah, and they're losing population rapidly.
Oh, Dimitri, I just sent you a new meme. You're gonna laugh at this one.
And at the rate they're building out California high-speed rail, Brightline West can end up finishing Las Vegas to Rancho Cucamonga and then build Rancho Cucamonga over to Phoenix, Arizona in the time they're going to take to build the Central Valley area.
Yeah, this is just crazy. Brightline finally hasn't spoken yet. Brightline fans, anything you want to add in?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the USAID protest going on against Doge. Okay? There are some politicians out there.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. There are some
that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah. There are some politicians out there who doesn't want Doge to dissolve the USAID. And now they're going after the Department of Education.
Oh, good.
I'm 100% glad for that. I mean, guys, the Department of Education has damaged all our lives in some way or another. We've all been affected by the DOE and their just complete and utter, just incompetence. Yeah, there's just so many ways to talk about it.
Left behind.
Yeah, I'm glad if it's dead for good. S in the chat for Department of Education. I mean, the amount of waste. Yeah, and not only that,
Think of all those times, and remember PBS, and this is sponsored by the whether it's Arthur or Dragon Tales, sponsored by the United States Department of Education.
Yeah, wait, but I thought it was sponsored by viewers like you. What happened to viewers like you? What are all the pledges and all that? What did that go to?
When they get hooked on the taxpayer dough, they don't let it go until they're forced to.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I've heard Chuck Schumer's speech about how this is a bad thing, is that USAID is a good thing. And, oh my gosh, he said that soon they're going to be after the IRS. Which, by the way,
Good.
It's good. It's nice to have the
With all the
actually do more good.
With all the weeping and gnashing of teeth going on around because of Doge, I'm gonna have to invest into a bigger tub just to catch all those sweet, salty tears.
Yeah, man, the salt mines are in full swing now.
Starport wanted in.
Yeah, there's something stuck about these politicians, not gonna lie. They might be money laundering after these there might be corruption in these.
The bank's closed. You used the wrong word. You said might. It's almost like you haven't seen it at this point.
Just how deep it goes, how far the rabbit hole goes, and all that money that they sent overseas could have been invested in our infrastructure and our defense here.
Oh,
at home.
yeah, so
And
true.
Elsewhere. Oh, our greatest allies. Meanwhile, we have homeless veterans that are on the street. And we have a massive crime problem we're trying to sort out. I mean, it was worse before DJT came in, but starting to find out that our money went to go fund these Soros-backed DAs. Like, that is seriously warranted for serious criminal investigations, and certain SOBs need to be brought to the mat and seriously dealt with.
Yeah, no, it's
a lot of people need to be put in jail.
Bingo.
Oh, yeah, agree.
Every single libertarian's been asked years, if not decades by now, so it's like,
Honest the Fed, and then abolish the Fed.
You know what? Sometimes you do need a state to get involved to get rid of the state. It's like, look, that's the thing. It's like, especially once I got out of my libertarian phase, it's like you just kind of have to understand that in a sense, might is right. But you need to have, it doesn't have to be a big government, it just has to be a strong government. Because it can be big, lumbering, and just cumbersome for everybody else. And it's just fat. It's just taking away things. But we want a small but strong government. I want a Mike Tyson government.
Oh, yeah.
Something that can take on bigger things. That it's scary. You don't want to deal with a small, strong government. And that's what right now, what it seems like the Trump administration is doing. Again, let's see what happens, because hindsight is going to be 20. We know his first administration was a flop. It was not good.
Fail.
Yeah, a failure.
But he learned his lessons from his first time.
Yeah. So
so far, I've never seen a politician, period, move this quickly in their first, like, either 3 weeks.
I think that's what's getting everybody. Yeah, now they're seeing what an effective government that can actually do things looks like, because people aren't used to it in this country, where we haven't seen it before since before FDR. We haven't seen anything like it.
Oh yeah, we haven't.
The gravity and the corruption is going to go over so many people's heads. It's going to make their heads spin. Because USAID, I think, not just me, but I think Tomo-kun said the same thing. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, this is just like we knew that it was bad. We didn't know how much it was bad. We're just starting to recover it. All right, Star Force 97.
Excuse me, I just wanted to talk about something.
Go ahead.
Speaking of USAID, I remember in the Dominican Republic, just about like 7 years ago, there was this greenhouse that was funded by them. I saw this greenhouse. I just passed by the greenhouse. And it was funded by it.
Take the money. Take the money. That's all we can do, right?
And it's in the Dominican Republic, so you might not know how much money that.
I'm glad, Bright Line fan, that you're
Oh yeah.
here at the American Rail Club, that you're enjoying the greenhouse that we paid for. Oh man. But yeah, no, that's just nuts. And it's not just like, that's just, again, a couple million there, a couple million here and there. It's the whole system that comes to it. It's like, okay, like some of these things don't even cost whatever millions or billions of dollars they used. The point is that it was a piggy bank to just base, like political, or all these networks who, funny enough, were all pushing the Hyperloop or anything not high-speed rail for the last several years. They were all colluding on basically a lot of this stuff. Okay, not just talking about not high-speed rail, or talking about red herrings like the Hyperloop, but a whole lot of other stuff politically. So it just basically goes to show you that a lot of this, all this left-wing thinking can't exist outside of their own little spaces. The minute that the money goes away, it crumbles.
Oh yeah,
it just completely shatters.
It an echo chamber of what it is.
Yeah.
You can be left wing, but at least you need to have some accountability on the government.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter where you are in the political spectrum.
Yeah, we need to have a foundational, before we can have any sort of debates and anything like that, we need to have a foundational basis of what comes first. If our country and our nation comes first. If we can all agree on that, and some other foundational stuff, then you can't have a debate until we agree on first principles first. And that's why, like, I don't even go on Facebook anymore. I stopped after 2016 because you can't debate these people. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of just brain power.
Tell me about it.
You're not going to change their mind. Doesn't matter how many, even if you give them political sources, from Politico or their own, or Reuters,
going to ignore you.
Exactly. So it's not even worth debating them. All right, Star Force. Sorry for pushing you out of the way, man. What's up?
No, that's totally fine. So the 15 minute study thing is really nothing here, because we not only is it implemented in a lot of places such as Europe, several different European cities and towns, but the thing is, we had the 15-minute city in the past. We had walkable cities, like I would imagine, like, it didn't take, like, because you have all that walking and transit back then, the 15-minute city was definitely more so the norm. I mean, obviously, basically before the automobile, that's basically what it is, and they're just trying to reinvent the wheel.
Oh yeah, they're
but once you look into it, is that they've gone from, hey, this new automobile thing, let's build the whole cities around it, and now they're doing the exact same swing, just in the complete opposite direction.
Yep.
And if we're not smart about it, we're just gonna swing back and forth on this every single century.
Depending where you are, it's very car-centric.
Mm-hmm.
And they're trying to do it with electric cars, well, especially self-driving cars nowadays, where they have, because I've seen like some renditions when I watched that one Not Just Bikes video on self-driving cars, how there's this whole like city where like it looks like it's sped up, but like they want that to be like the future where cars are just like are smart enough to actually navigate traffic much more effectively, which is obviously, like that's not counting all the malfunctioning issues that could happen and everything in those lines. So obviously, if you want to build a proper city, you have to balance all modes of transportation. That's something that the U.S. has been
balance in this time of year. Oh, you must be new here. We don't do balance. We go from one extreme to the other and call people who are not in our extreme extremist.
Or fascist, or some kind of ism, and there's no room for debate to try to find common ground. Because once they start spewing that out, all bets are off. And listen, you can also leave it up to the programming of the legacy Mockingbird media, which was also funded by our own tax dollars. I mean, like, come on, that should be an obvious, like, alarm bell, a red flag, like, hey, something isn't right here. Like, why all these talking heads are saying pretty much the same damn thing?
Like,
make your alarm bells go off in your head. Like, what type of alarm are they defending? That's the question.
Oh yeah, that is true.
What are they defending? They're defending mob rule. That's all they're doing.
Yep. That's why I don't buy this stuff with this 15-minute city. I mean, that's just what they're just showcasing to the public. What they're showing in their own papers to their own investors is something completely different. Like, I forget, it was like either Blackstone or BlackRock, one of those two companies, which honestly, that they should be broken up, and all the top shareholders should be in jail. But the thing is, they said that, I forget, it was like during... like towards the end of COVID, that they said that they bought up enough properties to have that now all the homes in the United States, 30% of them are rentable properties. And what they want to do by the end of the decade is turn it to 60% of all U.S. homes to be rental homes.
That should be illegal. That should be illegal.
It's insane. If Teddy Roosevelt were alive, he would have broken down. He would have broken down. Yeah.
He wouldn't have broken down the companies. He would have grabbed the bat and started a swinging competition.
Mm-hmm.
How close can I get? It's like, how close can I get to your arm on the table without
that will be
hitting
done
it?
in 20 minutes.
At that point.
It's like, oh, was that your wrist? Oh, I'm sorry. You won't do that again, right?
I know, we're just like at the precipice of we're just at the precipice of Fed posting here.
Mm-hmm.
But look, I mean, it just goes to show you how ticked off we are. I mean, speaking to the point of Trump and Teddy Roosevelt, I mean, I'm glad that he's such a fan of Teddy that he even has a Rough Rider statue behind him on his desk. I mean, just using like an older president like that as an avatar, or how avid he is of Thomas Jefferson or Andrew Jackson particularly. I mean, those are presidents that you can take and making them as those avatars that you're, just taking and mirroring their perspective and how they would address the situation nowadays today. Because despite Teddy Roosevelt and Andrew Jackson, probably they maybe agree on maybe 60 or 70% of politics. Apart from that, they diverge on a lot. but they can agree on a lot of things. A lot of first principles, like America comes first, defending the American family, defending the American citizen, and making sure that they have what they need to at least have a comfortable life, the bare necessities.
Why can't everybody work together like that? I mean,
It's based on greed.
It's gonna take a really serious crisis for that.
We're about that, Val.
Yeah, and I honestly think, like, I honestly feel like as concerned as I get about all these plane crashes happening, it's obviously like, it's obviously like still just like a very, almost zero fraction, even though like, yeah, like you might be starting to see more of these because possibly like you got these big ATC and other federal aviation worker layoffs that people might be suspecting might be contributing to it. But on note of that, I feel like in this case, in today's day and age, I feel like that might have had to happen in a way because because think about like some of the programs that the Democrats have been forcing onto companies is like just not in the best interest of a particular company in some way. Like they're trying to like race bait or ethnicity bait, which I feel like is very morally wrong. And it's just
It's also highly illegal.
Yeah, very illegal. And
as a former Democrat who is now winning independent right now, yeah, my party is now in shambles. You cannot believe what just happened in the Democratic National Convention.
I saw some videos. I think I lost 5 IQ points watching videos.
Yeah, they are so fucking.
Yeah,
I mean, USAID out of the picture. Their funding is pretty much, how can I say this, has been untold.
Yeah, the RNC had its very low too, but I mean, it's at least showcasing that we have a long way to go.
We do have a long way to go.
And here's the thing: at least these online spaces, like despite everything that has happened, the good thing that we've found about these online spaces, like look, all of us here, look, there are 10 people speaking over here, and there were, I mean, let's see, 115 views online, 16 concurrent viewers. I mean, yeah, that doesn't seem like much, but these are people, these are all of us that are coming here, 20, 25 people that are coming here every week to discuss this. So, and it starts from that. That's the thing, is that we're starting to make a change here, and it starts small, and we've all come together on these issues. Mm-hmm. There's a lot that we're doing here.
Yeah, and for the most part, if you want to change anything, whether it's the whole world, a nation, state, or whatever, the easiest way to start is just start with the person you see in the mirror every single morning. It's like just get a personal or a month or family budget together. Get your own personal and family affairs in order. It's like get a last will and testament. Depending on where you are, you can write on back of the envelope, and it would still count. Other places you have to go to a specialized lawyer. It would. Check your local regions. Get a life insurance policy on yourself if you have one through your.
We got 11
great,
minutes.
But it's good to get a personal one. Get your retirement taken care of, whether that's a pension or an annuity, doesn't matter. And then all of a sudden it's like, all right, now that's done. Now talk to your family. Now talk to your friends, and then build from there. Because if you don't have a moral authority to speak on the subject, it's not going to go over well. And unfortunately for a lot of politicians, they've had no moral authority to speak on any subject whatsoever for decades. And now people are getting fed up.
Right.
I would say, apart from the financial points over there, I mean,
it's what to do as an occupation.
I know, and those are all good points. I mean, I would say the first basics, of course, get yourself right with God, whether you believe or not. But there's a higher power, and it puts your life in perspective for sure. Apart from after that, get healthy.
I want everybody on this club to be lifting 2 plates at some point. So bench press 225 at some point. But regardless, it does not matter about the numbers or whatever you bench or squat or anything like that. It just matters. Get active, get yourself healthy, eat right, just take care of yourself. Because again, it starts with you, and then it builds into the wider community around you. Whether it's us or your family, your brothers, your sisters, girlfriend, fiance, wife. Whichever, we got to start small, and we got to start at the community level, because either way, the federal government is in turmoil, and it's going to get smaller. Or less effective.
Oh yeah,
we have to start thinking at the local and state level, and I've been saying this for years. When it comes to transit and to rail or to infrastructure, anything, we need to focus on the community. That's just your town, your city, your county. Get involved in your commissions, or at least start knowing who the people are. You don't have to get involved right away, but at least start knowing what your local laws are, local codes, what's happening in your community. Getting involved some sort of way. Either commission meetings. There's basically nobody there. Speaking of boomers, it's basically, if you've been to any commission meeting anywhere, it's basically who's going to be. I guarantee you 110%, if any of you guys go to a local commission meeting, you're going to be the youngest guy there.
That for sure.
Hardly anyone does that.
Yeah, and you'll bring attention. You'll bring attention to yourself. Yeah, get involved, and at state level too, because there's some silly state laws. I mean, there was an article about
9 minutes to go.
That had something to do with ease of building transit, and Indiana had like a red because of the state law basically banning streetcars from ever being built in Indianapolis. It's silly. It's ridiculous, and at some point I'm going to get involved and just. Point it out, because it's just so stupid. But there's so many ways that we can get involved, and it has to start at the local and state
level.
We're
getting towards the end.
That's going to be the focus.
Work is a good
You need to let your stomach set for a minute.
I do got to admit, as a one at a time.
Go ahead.
I do got to admit, as a right-leaning libertarian, we are part of a community, whether you want it or not. So
all 30 of us in the right-leaning libertarian community.
Independent.
Listen, I'm center right, so
we should eliminate EIS studies.
Is if we get involved.
Yeah.
I was also going to point that. Yeah, I mean, you look. There's state, local EIS studies. You can go ahead and say, hey, we got to do something to get rid of. Can't build in the state. Now, let's see if let's see if Trump can get rid of the EIS study, or at least shrink it down to a look. It doesn't need to take more than 3 months at the maximum.
3 months. 3 months. It shouldn't take more than 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I'm being very, very.
I mean, a group of college students could do it in like 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, they'll do it for free. They'll do it for free. You don't even have to spend. It's a passion project.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to when it comes to state. Because look, California. Speaking of a state,
it's hard to do one EIS per. You have to do one EIS per project. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Multiple EISs.
Yeah, it's nuts. You have to go one phase or one segment. It's ridiculous, and that's why this. Built, and it should be built, but it's not going to be built at the rate that we want it, and it's hurting the rest of the country, because it hurts the image of transit, it hurts the image of infrastructure, and it's being used basically. I honestly, it's fair to say that this is now construction fraud. That people are making money off of this. Consultants are being put on as ways to pilfer out money, and it's construction fraud. And yeah, if we look at the timeline of this, it's wrong that a CEO. I wouldn't say. Let's put it this way. It's not wrong, but it's very suspect. It's very sus, as the Zoomers like to say. It's very sus. It's extremely sus. That he leaves basically right after it's going to become apparent that Trump just survived an assassination attempt. There is no. Biden is gone, and they put in basically the worst person to run for the Democrat Party. Trump is more or less a shoo-in at this point. He saw the writing on the wall. He's like, I'm not going to be here. Bye-bye. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure a whole lot of other people are, finding ways out of here. This is not good. It's hurting the rest of our country.
Can we actually, the only thing of California HSR that's actually done so far is the modernization of the Caltrain corridor.
Yeah, and that was a separate. If you really think about it, that was a separate project on its own. But I mean, these benchmarks that they want to put themselves, electrified by 2050. What?
That should take.
It's a current project.
Wait, what?
If you want to modernize the electrification process, it's like, all right, you do it when you change out the railroad in ties, which should happen once every few years. And
separate.
And the electricity, you could just set up the poles right now and not actually set up the wires until you redo the ties again, which would be
at almost 10 o'clock.
A couple of months to a few years from now.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's put this at 10 more minutes over here. So let's bring this to a close at around 10. That gives us more than enough time.
Oh yeah.
I got a question for Darius over here. Do you remember one of the first videos we did talking about California high-speed rail? Do you remember what our opening joke was for that? Of course. Of course. Is it going to get done by 2029? and let me see if I can bring this up over here. I'm going to put it up on the club because it's pretty hilarious. Let me see. There we go. All right.
George, put on top of that audit of California HSR because we want to know where the money went.
Yeah, we gotta know. I'm gonna put it in the general chat so you guys can. And so this was. I'm gonna just put it also over here. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Absolutely not. I'm just gonna play some parts and bits of it. But it's kind of, oh man, look at how young I was down back then, man.
Oh my god. Did think about it, was skinny back then.
That's the good thing. It's still there. It's still there. I mean, I got a haircut yesterday, but it's still there. Man, I must have been like 130 pounds there. But look, this is pretty funny. So the opening joke. Here we go.
Oh damn, you do look. I think I remember this video.
I don't see it in the chat. Where is it? Where is it? I don't see it in the chat.
It's in the general chat. It's in the general chat. But here's the big. Darius, this is where you come out. Here.
I got the Discord on one phone, and then the other phone, I got the live stream on the other.
But yeah, it did crazy.
Yeah.
And I.
Now what has changed? What has changed since then? What has changed? This is nuts. And this is another governor we're talking about. Back to Jerry Brown. This was 10 years ago, January 6, 2015. 10 years ago. We don't have time to be waiting for this. It's like we're pushing for this.
High school was started.
I got kicked. Because of some crap.
I'm in 8th grade. Well, I was in 8th grade. Now I'm at the university right now. So
yeah, we're all getting older. Time is ticking by, and it's obvious that the people who are in charge. That's one of the major reasons why I said everybody on the board should not be over the age of 45. Because if you put somebody there that's our age, we want to see it done. We're not there to dawdle around and find some ways to add it into our portfolio or to our 401k or to our stock portfolio or find some ways
like
to
what he's saying is true.
Be sitting out there like the Sopranos, playing card games. We're earning a cut out of it. No, we want it done.
And if there's any screw-up on a job site, I want to know what's going on. Who's screwed up? Who's getting fired?
There we go. Sorry about that. My Someone called me and it's glitched.
Georgery Zerkov from earlier, do we have any lobby groups for train projects? If done right, there would be no need for lobbying ever.
Oh yeah.
That is just a that's just a form. That's just a form of corruption and grift just to get more money.
Mm-hmm. You're
That
right.
also needs to come to an end.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it's not bribery, it's lobbying. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's bribery. It's like if I took what you did and then put it in the context of another country, you'd call it bribery within a half a second.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, but then all of a sudden it's like, but this is you, and they're like, oh, no, it's lobbying, but you said it was bribery.
It did so funny with the Two-Face.
Why are many of these boomers inside? Why are many of these very same boomers who do not realize that they have not many years left, unlike us, they have much years left on Earth, and yet they still insist on a bureaucratic circus just to get things done? Like that
because they benefit from it.
They're benefiting from it. It's the status quo. They benefit from the status quo. To it. It's there's a lot of adage to the term. You can't teach
We
an
got
old dog
9
new
minutes.
tricks. And a lot of that has to do. It's like they grew up in the system. Like somebody like a Karen Bass. Like we just saw at the. Let me see.
God.
Do you think this person cannot exist outside of her system? Outside of that, she's useless.
Oh
And
yeah.
that's the thing. They know that's the only way that they can exist and benefit from the system is if it stays alive. The minute it becomes threatened, the minute that it's starting to crumble, they're going to freak out, which is one of the reasons why this whole USAID situation, the USAIDs situation, is such a massive scandal and just it's indicative of the greater rot. Exactly, the cultural rot and cancer that we have in this country.
And the worst part about it is most of them can only operate while the system is running flawlessly during perfect times. And now that the perfect times has come to an end, they don't know what to do except do what they've always done, which is lamp down on any dissent, which done repeatedly shows that they're nothing more than petty tyrants.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna give some credit to the boomers. A lot of them are not like the rich boomers that are basically living in the villages and smashing to each other Mario Kart style. The vast majority of them are not doing too well because of this. Now they're paying. They're retired or they got forced into retirement, and I can speak anecdotally, and I know plenty of people, including my own father, who was pushed into retirement when he didn't need to be. They're surviving off of Social Security. They're getting taxed off of Social Security, and they bought their houses. Yeah, a lot of them are getting homeless. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of boomers going homeless, or they're not being able to afford their homes because this whole system, like again, the Blackguard, Vanguard, State Streets, Blackstone, whatever. They're pumping money into the housing market. They're inflating the prices of housing. What do you think that does to the property taxes? What do you think that does to the insurance rates? They're on a fixed income, and now they're getting taxed on that income. And now they're getting that. We're trying to. This is for the benefit of everybody. We need to reshore. We need to, tear us the hell of whatever we need to do. Whatever we need to do to bring back manufacturing, fix our infrastructure, fix our supply chain. That's what we need to, and get rid of this disgusting government too.
And what we need to do is criminally charge Vanguard and Blackwater and Blackwalk. We need to criminally charge them with this stuff because if we criminally charge them, it can solve a really bad problem.
Yeah, and that's the problem. Is that there's very few firms that are into making infrastructure projects because the problem with infrastructure projects, there's too much regulation. I mean, even France is called the United States politically dysfunctional. Mm-hmm. That's compared to Morocco or to North Africa. That's hilarious.
And France has to deal with the protest every other month.
Yeah, exactly. They're flinging, manure into French Parliament or whatever, every other day. So, I mean,
not deleting it. They're pumping into their parliament buildings, their government buildings.
Yeah, so you have that the regulation plus these infrastructure projects. It makes them longer to take in, so that's more risk. You know, why take 10 years to possibly build an infrastructure project when you, I don't know, can go ahead and flush money through another glorified Shackrock project, which will be up in 2 years. You pump it stock, you go ahead and sell it, you buy another one, you keep flushing the money out that way. Or buying a whole bunch of real estate and then having a whole bunch of LLCs that you make and, you know, go ahead and bump up artificially the prices of the comp prices all over the place and make unlimited money. Yeah, and that's why they keep, that's the game they keep playing, and that's why. If you get rid of that game and say, hey, you're building infrastructure, there'll be investment into infrastructure. Trust me, there will be.
Here's my ultimatum. You either invest in our infrastructure, or we're going to break your firm up, and we're going to put all of your executive officers and CFOs in cuffs. What's it going to be?
Yeah. All right, guys, 4-minute warning. Last.
I'm about to say the 4-minute warning.
let's keep at the border. Let's not keep Fed posting, no Luigi posting or anything like that. Let's keep it. Look, we're young. Here's the thing. It's like, you know, oh yeah, when you get old, you get more mellow. No, I've just gotten angrier. I think I have too. And I think it's just paramount to the times, and that's just, you know, it's what it is. But look, it's not to, don't burn yourself with anger. Use that energy and put it to something positive, which is what we're doing here. We're getting together, we're talking about good ideas, and we're finding ways to get this done. And we've seen this with Brightline.
Speaking of that, I sent one last meme. I just sent one last meme in the Discord chat that is funny.
I see it.
And if we do this right, it's like, it's not that you need to ban certain forms of transportation. It's like, oh, France are going to ban all forms of
3-minute warning. Live stream about to end in 3 minutes.
Cities within 2.5 hours by rail or less. It's like,
that does need to happen. If you do it right, the demand for those flights will go down so much that they'll naturally go down to maybe a few flights per day.
Oh yeah.
But if you're like, oh, let's ban it, it's like, your battery electric planes have short range, so they can't go on those flights because you banned them. And now you're
not getting anywhere.
Well, until the battery question is solved, battery electric planes are not going to be an issue. And even if the batteries were announced tomorrow, it's going to be a minimum of a decade.
Yeah, no, forget battery electric cars. Even full thing large and SUVs have solvable problems. It's they do. Look, it's a big giant battery. The thing is already big. It's too much weight, and by the time you put it to go, it instead of having 300 miles of range, it's only going to have 150 on a good day. When it gets cold, forget it. You're having 50 miles. They suck. That doesn't work.
It doesn't.
Yeah, for the smaller cars,
2 minutes.
like the Japanese K cars, those as battery electrics, those would actually be kind of good.
Oh yeah.
Something like a Honda Beat or Suzuki Cappuccino or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, the only problem is A, they either don't exist in our markets, or B, they exist, but due to import restrictions, they can't come in for at least a few decades.
Yeah.
Well, they're looking to review the 25-year import rule, Sean Duffy. They're looking into that.
Yeah, but don't hold your breath. It's probably going to take a few months before that even gets to the House floor.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because imagine now
better than waiting a few years.
Imagine now a whole bunch of, you know, millennials and Zoomers.
Oh yeah.
And Toyota Hiluxes. That will destroy the American automobile. And they'll be forced to adapt. Now they're going to have to bring in a Dodge Ram that costs, you know, starting price $23,000 in order to compete with a, you know, 15-year-old Japanese truck. So
what? You mean that $35,000 Chevrolet? You mean that $35,000
1 minute.
Silverado is not going to be able to compete against that $15,000 Toyota truck that is illegal
even
to bring
the Colorado with that turbo inline 4. Also, too, the engine management systems, the fuel management,
systems, those are about to go by the wayside, and it will actually make the cars function more properly because you don't have the cylinders being shut off, which does more harm to the engine than.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that for sure. Whew. But it is getting late at 10 o'clock. We should be getting ready.
And quite good cars that balance them. And
But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Engineering to, but we
it
there.
But yeah, it did crazy. It will
And, yeah,
work,
I don't want a Baser.
but it is getting late.
It really depends.
It really does. But it now 10:11. I think it's time for us to end the live stream now. Am I right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It lagged out. I think it.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody lagged. Oh. Wait, everybody? Okay. Okay, so it's Discord. Discord is at it again. I wonder how much money Discord got from USAID to not make a working product, but yeah.
We can look it up. We can look it up later.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. All right, we're gonna end it. We're gonna end it here. We're gonna train to the station. It's a 2-minute delay thanks to Discord. Discord delays strike again, but it was a very good, interesting conversation, guys. I think this is probably one of the best so far we've done in the last since we started this for sure. But guys, thank you all and everybody there on YouTube and everybody else. Thank you all for joining.
I hope everybody
on this episode here of the Arc live stream, and I hope you guys are
and
excited
the fan
for
of trains.
Video. It's still.
I hope everybody
but, I mean, you guys are good with the whole vibe of it, at least, and everything, right? And there's, of course, some improvements to be made. But what do you guys think?
Placeholder video here actually fits.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of time to go through a whole lot of.
I like the teaser.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you all. Of course, just join us on this. Link is somewhere in the chat, and yeah, it's there, and I'm gonna pin it on here. So there you go, guys. All right. Thank you all for joining and riding on board this ride here on the American Rail Club. We will see you all next time. Godspeed.
I hope everybody enjoyed the live stream. Please like and subscribe, and we have arrived at the station. Bye, guys.
And stay safe.
Have a nice night.
Bye.
Bye.